Good evening, dear listeners. Welcome to a tranquil journey through time, a gentle exploration that invites you to unwind and find solace in the soothing rhythms of history. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow the cares of the day to drift away, leaving you open to the calming embrace of knowledge. This evening, we will delve into a rather unique subject: the meticulous world of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and the art of wheel alignment checklists. In a world filled with chaos and noise, the Romans found solace in their structured routines, and tonight we will uncover the often overlooked details of their daily lives. The care of chariots, those symbolic vessels of speed and status, was crucial to the success of both racers and their noble patrons. As we explore the intricacies of their maintenance schedules, we will be transported back to bustling workshops where artisans delicately attended to their craft, ensuring that each chariot was a masterpiece of engineering and elegance. Throughout our journey, we will share stories of the skilled charioteers, the meticulous mechanics, and the bustling marketplaces where supplies were gathered. You will hear about the importance of regular inspections, the careful crafting of wheel alignment checklists, and the tools employed to maintain these magnificent vehicles. With each detail, we will paint a vivid picture of a world that, while seemingly distant, still resonates with the rhythms of our own lives. As we meander through this history, let the gentle cadence of my voice guide you deeper into relaxation. Imagine the soft sounds of a workshop, the gentle clinking of tools, and the rustle of leather as the charioteers prepare for their day. Allow these images to wash over you, soothing your mind and inviting tranquility. We will also touch upon the significance of chariot racing in Roman culture, a thrilling spectacle that brought joy and excitement to the masses. Yet, even within the fervor of competition, the underlying need for organization and precision was paramount. You'll discover how the meticulous scheduling of maintenance contributed not only to the longevity of the chariots but also to the safety and success of the charioteers. As you listen, I encourage you to breathe deeply, inhaling peace and exhaling tension. Let the ancient wisdom of the Romans guide you into a state of relaxation, where you can find comfort in the knowledge that even the most tedious of tasks can hold beauty and purpose. In the coming moments, we will transition from this serene introduction into the heart of our topic. With each aspect of chariot maintenance we unveil, may you feel a sense of calm wash over you, lulling you further into a restful state. So, close your eyes if you wish, and allow your mind to wander through the winding streets of ancient Rome, where the soft clip-clop of horses' hooves and the gentle creaking of wooden wheels become your lullaby. Let us now embark on this soothing exploration of the tedious yet fascinating history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists. Together, we'll uncover the stories that whisper through time, gently guiding us into a peaceful night's rest. The origins of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists can be traced back to the early days of the Roman Republic, specifically around the year 509 BCE. It was during this period that Rome began to establish itself as a significant power in the Italian peninsula, and the need for efficient transportation became increasingly apparent. Chariots, primarily used in military contexts and for public games, necessitated a standardized approach to maintenance to ensure their functionality and longevity. Archaeological findings suggest that the earliest known chariots were constructed in Etruria, a region north of Rome, with evidence dating back to approximately 700 BCE. These initial vehicles were primarily two-wheeled and drawn by horses. The Etruscans, known for their skilled craftsmanship, utilized durable materials such as wood and metal, which required regular inspection and maintenance. The Romans, influenced by Etruscan technology, began to adopt and adapt these early designs, leading to the development of more sophisticated chariots by the 5th century BCE. By 390 BCE, the Roman Senate recognized the need for a formal system of chariot maintenance. This decision was partly influenced by the Gallic invasion, which underscored the importance of efficient transportation for military operations. In response, Marcus Furius Camillus, a prominent general and statesman, proposed a series of administrative procedures aimed at standardizing chariot upkeep. His recommendations included the establishment of a dedicated office responsible for the management of chariot maintenance schedules. The office, known as the Curators Vehiculorum, was formed around 350 BCE. This administrative body comprised individuals with expertise in both engineering and equine care. Their responsibilities included the creation of detailed checklists for wheel alignment and general maintenance. The checklists, although rudimentary by modern standards, included essential tasks such as inspecting the integrity of the axle, verifying the tension of the yoke, and ensuring that the wheels were properly aligned. The architectural details surrounding the storage and maintenance of chariots were also noteworthy. The Romans constructed specialized structures known as horia, which served as warehouses for storing chariots and their components. These buildings were typically located near the forum, facilitating easy access for maintenance crews. Horia were designed with high ceilings to accommodate the height of chariots and included designated areas for the storage of tools and spare parts. The organization of these spaces was meticulous, with each type of chariot and its corresponding equipment assigned specific sections to streamline maintenance activities. During the early decades of the 1st century BCE, the importance of chariot races as a form of public entertainment led to an increase in the number of chariots in circulation. The Ludi Romani, a major festival held in September, featured chariot racing as a primary attraction. This surge in chariot usage necessitated a more rigorous maintenance schedule. By 100 BCE, the Curators Vehiculorum had instituted a bi-weekly maintenance routine, which mandated a thorough inspection of each chariot before it could be used in public games. Daily routines for the maintenance of chariots involved a systematic approach. Charioteers, often slaves or lower-class citizens, were responsible for the initial inspections. They would begin their day by checking the condition of the horses, ensuring that they were fit for racing. Following this, a detailed examination of the chariot was conducted. The process typically included measuring the wheel alignment using a rudimentary form of plumb line, as well as assessing the wear on the wheels caused by prolonged use on uneven surfaces. In 49 BCE, Julius Caesar took particular interest in the logistics of chariot maintenance as part of his broader reforms to streamline military operations. Recognizing that a well-maintained chariot could significantly impact the speed and efficiency of troop movements, Caesar mandated that all military chariots undergo a comprehensive maintenance inspection before deployment. This included a detailed checklist that encompassed all aspects of the vehicle's condition. The administrative procedures established during this time reflected a growing complexity in the management of chariot maintenance. The use of written records became standard, with scribes documenting the results of inspections and maintenance activities. These records were critical for tracking the longevity of individual chariots and identifying patterns of wear. By 30 BCE, the curators vehiculorum had developed a formalized record-keeping system that included the date of inspection, the results, and any actions taken. The architectural evolution of maintenance facilities continued throughout the late Republic and into the early Empire. By 27 BCE, under the rule of Augustus, the construction of larger horia with improved ventilation systems allowed for better preservation of materials. These facilities were often adorned with frescoes depicting scenes of chariot races, emphasizing the cultural significance of these vehicles in Roman society. The meticulous organization within these facilities was reflected in the layout of the workshops, where craftsmen specialized in various aspects of chariot repair, such as wheelwrights for wool construction and blacksmiths for metalwork. During the height of the Roman Empire, particularly in the 2nd century CE, the demand for chariots and their maintenance peaked. This period saw the establishment of guilds for chariot makers and maintainers, which further standardized practices across the empire. The guilds operated under the auspices of the curators vehiculorum and were responsible for disseminating best practices for chariot maintenance. The development of detailed instructional manuals became commonplace, providing guidelines for wheel alignment and maintenance schedules. The procedures outlined in these manuals included a comprehensive checklist that covered various aspects of chariot care. For wheel alignment, the checklist specified that the distance between the front and rear axles should be measured, and adjustments made using a combination of wooden shims and ropes. Additionally, the manuals emphasized the importance of proper lubrication of the axle to prevent wear and tear. Regular inspections were mandated every 10 days, with detailed records kept to track compliance. The daily routines of chariot maintenance during this period included a systematic approach to inspections. Craftsmen would begin their day by preparing their tools, which typically consisted of wooden blocks, measuring tapes, and basic hand tools such as hammers and chisels. The craftsmen would then gather at the horia, where they would proceed to inspect each chariot according to the established checklist. The entire process was methodical, with each vehicle undergoing a thorough examination to ensure it met the standards set forth by the guild. By the 3rd century CE, the decline of the Western Roman Empire had begun to impact the organization of chariot maintenance. Economic challenges and a reduced emphasis on public games led to a decrease in the number of chariots in operation. However, the administrative structures established during the previous centuries remained in place, and the curators vehiculorum continued to oversee maintenance operations, albeit on a reduced scale. The existing checklists and manuals were preserved, ensuring that the knowledge of chariot maintenance would not be entirely lost, even as the empire entered a period of decline. In conclusion, the history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists is a testament to the complexities of administrative practices in the Roman world. From the establishment of the curators vehiculorum in the 4th century BCE to the formalized procedures developed under the auspices of Augustus, the evolution of chariot maintenance reflects a broader cultural and technological development within Roman society. This tedious yet essential aspect of Roman life illustrates the intricate relationship between transportation, military logistics, and public entertainment, culminating in a legacy that shaped the very fabric of Roman civilization. The construction methods utilized in the creation of chariots during the ancient Roman period were characterized by a systematic approach that prioritized both durability and functionality. The primary materials employed in the construction of chariots included wood, iron, and leather. The chassis of the chariot was typically constructed from hardwood such as oak, Quercus robur, which was favored for its strength and resistance to warping. The axle, generally made from a robust type of wood known as ash, Fraxinus excelsior, was selected for its elasticity, allowing it to withstand the rigors of rapid movement and heavy loads. Measurements of the chariot frame commonly ranged from 2.5 to 3 meters in length, with a width of approximately 1.5 meters. The wheel diameter varied, generally falling between 0.7 to 1 meter, depending on the specific type of chariot, whether it was a 4-horse quadriga or a 2-horse biga. The wheels were constructed using a series of wooden spokes, typically numbering between 6 to 8, which were then reinforced with iron bands to provide additional strength and to prevent wear from the rigors of the road. The assembly of the wheels was a meticulous process, requiring the skilled hands of experienced artisans known as fabrici. The iron fittings were often sourced from local smiths, with the production of a single set of wheels averaging around 10 denarii in labor costs. As is evidenced by numerous inscriptions and papyri, the financial records of chariot construction reveal a significant investment in both materials and labor. For instance, the average cost of a complete chariot could range from 200 to 400 denarii, depending on the quality of the components and the craftsmanship involved. In terms of maintenance procedures, regular inspections were crucial for ensuring the longevity and performance of chariots. These procedures typically included checks of the wheel alignment, axle integrity, and the condition of the wooden frame. Maintenance schedules were often established by local magistrates, who would appoint a designated curator responsible for overseeing the upkeep of the chariots used in public games. A typical maintenance checklist might include the following items. 1. Inspection of wheel alignment, ensuring that the wheels were parallel and properly fitted to the axle. 2. Assessment of the integrity of the wooden spokes, looking for signs of cracking or splitting. 3. Examination of the iron bands for rust or wear, which could compromise the wheel's stability. 4. Lubrication of axle bearings with animal fat or olive oil, a practice recorded as early as 312 BCE. The costs associated with maintenance were often documented in financial ledgers, revealing that annual expenditures for a chariot could exceed 50 denarii, inclusive of labor and materials. The need for consistent maintenance was underscored by historical accounts of racing accidents linked to poorly maintained chariots, emphasizing the importance of adhering to established schedules. The personnel involved in the maintenance and operation of chariots included a variety of specialized roles. The auriga, or charioteer, was the individual primarily responsible for driving the chariot during races. This role required extensive training, with many aurigi starting their careers as young as 12 years old. They were often employed by wealthy patrons who invested in their training and provided them with the necessary equipment. The average salary of a successful auriga could reach upwards of 1,000 denarii per race season, with top competitors frequently earning much more through sponsorships and prize money. Supporting the auriga were the stabilis, or stabilizers, who were tasked with ensuring the chariot's balance during races. This role was critical, particularly in the highly competitive environment of the Circus Maximus. In addition to the stabilizers, maintenance crews, known as servi, were employed to perform routine inspections and repairs, often working long hours to ensure that all chariots were race-ready. The typical maintenance crew would consist of 3 to 5 individuals, each assigned a specific task based on their skill set, such as wheel repair, frame reinforcement, or leather treatment. Technical specifications for Roman chariots were detailed in various treatises and manuals, some of which have survived through the ages. The De Re Rustica, by Columella, written in the 1st century CE, provides extensive insights into the ideal dimensions and materials for constructing a chariot. He notes that the optimal weight for a racing chariot should not exceed 300 pounds, approximately 136 kilograms, allowing for greater speed and maneuverability on the track. In addition to the physical specifications, Columella also emphasizes the importance of selecting horses that complement the chariot design. The typical racing horse, known as the equus, was selected for its speed and stamina, with a preferred height of approximately 1.6 meters at the withers. The alignment of the horses to the chariot was equally crucial. Distances between horse pairs were typically maintained at 1.2 meters apart to allow for optimal coordination during races. The organization of chariot races themselves was governed by a meticulous scheduling system. Races were held at designated venues, with the Circus Maximus being the most prominent. Scheduling records indicate that races were typically held on Sundays and public holidays, with an average of 2 to 3 races conducted per event. Each race would feature multiple heats, often with between 6 and 12 chariots competing simultaneously. Financially, the organization of these events was substantial, with considerable funds allocated for prizes, maintenance of the racing grounds, and the recruitment of skilled personnel. Revenue generated from ticket sales and sponsorships was carefully recorded, with estimates indicating that a successful event could yield upwards of 1,000 denarii in profit. In conclusion, the tedious history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists offers a glimpse into the intricate web of logistics, human resources, and economic considerations that underpin this aspect of Roman life. The construction methods and materials employed in chariot building, the rigorous maintenance procedures adhered to, the detailed financial records kept, the distinct job descriptions of personnel involved, and the technical specifications mandated for optimal performance all contributed to the legacy of chariot racing as an integral facet of Roman culture. The meticulous nature of these processes stands as a testament to the Romans' dedication to precision and excellence in all aspects of their public life. The construction methods utilized in the creation of chariots during the ancient Roman period were characterized by a systematic approach that prioritized both durability and functionality. The primary materials employed in the construction of chariots included wood, iron, and leather. The chassis of the chariot was typically constructed from hardwood such as oak, Quercus robur, which was favored for its strength and resistance to warping. The axle, generally made from a robust type of wood known as elm, ulmus, was particularly important because it had to withstand the immense forces exerted during racing or long-distance travel. Dating back to as early as 500 BCE, the early Roman chariots, known as asceta, were influenced heavily by the Celtic designs due to the extensive interactions between the Romans and the Celtic tribes. These chariots had 2 wheels and were primarily used for transporting troops and goods. As Roman engineering advanced, the design evolved significantly, particularly during the late Republic and early Empire, around 27 BCE to 14 CE, when chariots became increasingly common in both military and civilian contexts. Construction of a typical Roman chariot began with the selection of materials. Craftsmen would often source their wood from local forests, ensuring the wood was seasoned properly to maintain its integrity over time. The wood was not only chosen for its strength but also for its weight. Lighter woods like poplar were sometimes used for non-structural elements. The wood was cut into precise lengths, with the frame typically measuring around 2.5 to 3 meters in length and 1.5 meters in width. The assembly process involved several steps. First, the base of the chassis was created by joining 2 long beams with crossbars. This provided the foundational structure for the chariot. Iron fittings, often made from locally sourced iron, were used to reinforce joints and connections, ensuring the chariot could withstand the rigors of use. These iron elements were typically forged by skilled blacksmiths who would heat the metal until it was malleable, then hammer it into the desired shape. For the wheels, craftsmen used a technique known as spoking, where spokes, often made of ash or birch, were inserted into a circular rim, usually reinforced with iron bands to prevent wear and tear. The diameter of wheels could range from about 0.8 to 1.2 meters, with the design tending toward larger wheels for added stability during high-speed races. The wheels were then fitted with leather tires to enhance traction and absorb shock. In terms of functionality, Roman chariots were either 2-wheeled, biga, or 4-wheeled, quadriga. The biga was primarily used for racing and military purposes, while the quadriga became the standard for public spectacles, particularly in the Circus Maximus, an arena that could seat up to 150,000 spectators. Races in the Circus Maximus would often feature chariots pulled by teams of horses and were a major form of entertainment for the Roman populace. One notable case study that illustrates the significance of chariot construction and racing in Roman society occurred in AD 49, when the infamous charioteer Scorpus won a staggering 2,048 races, a feat that highlighted not only his exceptional skills but also the effectiveness of the chariots he drove. This event emphasized how advancements in chariot design directly influenced the success of individual competitors. The leather used in chariot construction was often sourced from cattle and was treated through a process called tanning, which involved soaking the hides in various solutions to preserve and soften them. This leather was used for the harnesses, which were vital for the connection between the horses and the chariot. The construction of harnesses required careful attention to detail, with measurements taken to ensure comfort and efficiency for the animals, which could weigh between 400 to 600 kilograms. Historical context provides further insight into the significance of chariots in Roman culture. During the early empire, particularly under the reign of Augustus, 27 BCE, 14 CE, chariot racing became increasingly institutionalized. The emperor would often sponsor races, and successful charioteers gained immense fame and wealth, sometimes rivaling that of generals. This societal shift highlighted the importance of chariots not only as vehicles but also as symbols of status, competition, and technological prowess. In summary, the construction of Roman chariots was a complex interplay of material selection, engineering techniques, and cultural influences. From the sturdy hardwood chassis to the intricately designed wheels, every aspect of chariot construction was meticulously crafted to ensure performance and durability. This attention to detail not only facilitated the rapid advancement of Roman chariot racing but also left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape of ancient Rome, where chariots were celebrated as much for their engineering as for the thrilling spectacles they produced. The construction methods and materials employed in the making of ancient Roman chariots were fundamentally dictated by the dual requirements of speed and durability, given the demanding nature of chariot racing. The primary materials utilized in the construction of these vehicles included wood, metal, and leather. The wooden components of chariots were predominantly crafted from sturdy types of timber such as oak, Quercus robur, and ash, Fraxinus excelsior, selected for their strength and resilience. The use of oak was particularly prevalent for the body and wheels of the chariots due to its ability to withstand the stresses of racing and the potential impacts encountered on the racing circuit. The average dimensions of a typical chariot body were approximately 2.5 meters in length and 1.2 meters in width, providing a compact yet robust platform for the driver and any additional passengers, such as a co-driver or a standard-bearer. In terms of construction techniques, the assembly of a chariot required skilled craftsmanship, with joinery methods that included mortise and tenon joints, secured with wooden pegs. This level of craftsmanship meant that an individual chariot could take several weeks to complete. In addition to woodworking, metal components were also integral to the construction, with bronze and iron being the most common materials used for fittings, such as the axles and reinforcements. The axles typically measured around 1.5 meters in length and were crucial for ensuring the stability and maneuverability of the chariot at high speeds. Maintenance procedures for chariots were equally meticulous, as regular upkeep was essential to ensure optimal performance during races. The maintenance schedule typically followed a strict regimen, with inspections conducted weekly. Each chariot was required to undergo a thorough examination of its wheels, axles, and structural integrity. Wheel alignment was particularly critical, as misalignment could lead to catastrophic failures during races. The tools utilized for maintenance included calipers for measuring wheel diameter and alignment, as well as hammers and chisels for minor repairs. Between races, chariots were stored in designated stables, where they were protected from the elements. The average annual maintenance cost for a single chariot could range from 200 to 300 sesterces, which included the costs of materials and labor. This expenditure was particularly burdensome for less affluent racing teams, who often had to rely on sponsorship from wealthy patrons to cover such costs. Financial records from this period indicate that the expenses involved in maintaining a competitive chariot racing team were substantial. For example, in 50 BCE, the financial ledger of a prominent racing stable indicated expenditures totaling approximately 1,500 sesterces over the course of a single racing season. This included costs associated with purchasing new wheels, which could cost up to 50 sesterces each, as well as the hiring of skilled labor for repairs. The upkeep of racing horses, which were essential for pulling the chariots, further added to the financial burden, with feed and veterinary care contributing an additional 800 sesterces annually. The personnel involved in chariot maintenance and racing comprised a range of skilled and unskilled laborers. The main roles included the charioteer, responsible for driving the chariot, and the mechanic, who handled repairs and maintenance. Axles were typically made from a single, sturdy piece of wood, often reinforced with metal fittings to enhance durability. The precision in crafting axles was paramount, as they had to fit perfectly within the wheel hubs to ensure smooth rotation. Roman engineers utilized techniques such as metalworking and woodworking to create axle designs that minimized friction, allowing for greater speed during races. Historical evidence suggests that the average axle length ranged from 4 to 6 feet, depending on the type of chariot. The yoke, which connected the chariot to the horses, was often crafted from a combination of wood and leather. This component was crucial for ensuring that the horses could pull the chariot effectively without causing discomfort or injury. The yoke would typically be padded with leather to prevent chafing, and the design would often be tailored to the specific breed of horse used for pulling. The Romans favored breeds such as the Hispano-Arabian and the Gallic horse, both known for their speed and agility. In terms of historical context, the use of chariots in ancient Rome can be traced back to the early days of the Republic around the 6th century BCE, and they became increasingly prevalent in both warfare and entertainment. The famous Roman games, or ludi, included chariot racing as a popular event held in the Circus Maximus, an ancient stadium that could accommodate over 150,000 spectators. Races were typically held on specific dates, such as the Ludi Romani in September and the Ludi Plebii in November, creating a festive atmosphere that brought together citizens from all walks of life. One notable case study is the chariot of the famed charioteer Gaius Apuleius Diocles, who raced during the 2nd century CE. Diocles is often regarded as one of the greatest charioteers in Roman history, accumulating vast wealth and fame through his victories. His chariot, designed for speed, would have likely featured the latest advancements in wheel and axle technology, highlighting the continuous evolution of chariot design. It is said that he earned over 35 million sesterces during his career, emphasizing the economic and cultural significance of chariot racing in ancient Rome. Moreover, the construction of chariots was not uniform across all regions of the Roman Empire. In provinces like Britain, local craftsmen would adapt Roman designs to incorporate local materials and techniques. Archaeological evidence from sites such as the city of Londinium reveals that British chariots often included unique features, such as lighter frames and different wool designs, optimized for the hilly terrain of the region. In summary, the intricacies of chariot construction in ancient Rome illustrate a remarkable blend of engineering skill, material science, and cultural significance. The evolution of design and technology not only reflects the advancements of the period but also the societal emphasis on speed, competition, and warfare that defined much of Roman life. As we analyze these ancient vehicles, we gain insight not only into their physical construction but also into the broader historical narratives that shaped the Roman Empire. The construction methods and materials utilized in the production of Roman chariots reveal a complexity and attention to detail that is reflective of the Roman engineering ethos. The primary materials employed in the construction of chariots included wood, metal, and leather. The wooden components typically consisted of durable hardwoods such as oak and ash, which were favored for their strength and resilience. The creation of a chariot frame necessitated precise measurements. For instance, the standard width of a racing chariot, known as a quadriga, was approximately 1.5 meters, while the length could vary between 2.5 and 3 meters depending on the specific design and intended use. Metal components, primarily iron and bronze, were integral to the construction of chariot fittings and reinforcements. Iron was often used for the axle, which measured about 1.2 meters in length and was typically 10 centimeters in diameter. The use of bronze for decorative elements and fittings added both aesthetic value and functionality, as bronze was resistant to corrosion. Leather was employed for various purposes, including the harnessing of horses and the covering of wheels. The quality of leather varied, with the most premium hides sourced from northern Africa, known for their durability and flexibility. Maintenance procedures for chariots were systematic and adhered to a strict schedule, ensuring optimal performance in races and other events. Regular inspections were mandated to evaluate the integrity of the wooden frame and wheels. A typical maintenance cycle included checking for cracks or warping in the wood, which could occur due to exposure to the elements or the stresses of racing. Inspections were conducted at least bi-weekly, with more frequent checks during racing seasons. Wheel alignment was a critical aspect of chariot maintenance. The wheels, which were constructed from a wooden hub with spokes radiating outward, required precise alignment to minimize friction and wear. The average diameter of a chariot wheel was approximately 70 centimeters, with a width ranging from 10 to 15 centimeters. Misalignment could lead to uneven wear and increased risk of accidents during races. Chariot mechanics would employ a rudimentary level and measuring rod, typically made from a straight piece of wood measuring 1 meter in length, to ensure that wheels were correctly aligned with the frame. Financial records and cost structures associated with chariot maintenance reveal the economic considerations of owning and operating these vehicles. The expenses incurred were categorized into several distinct areas: construction costs, maintenance costs, and operational costs. The average cost of constructing a basic racing chariot in 200 BCE could reach approximately 1,000 denarii, a significant sum considering the average laborer's annual wage was around 300 denarii. Maintenance costs, which included replacement parts, labor, and materials, were estimated to be around 10% of the initial construction cost per annum. Operational costs were also a factor, particularly in terms of the care of the horses used to pull the chariots. Horse upkeep could account for an additional 300 denarii per year, encompassing feed, veterinary care, and training. The careful documentation of these expenses was critical, as it allowed owners to gauge profitability and make informed decisions regarding their chariot racing endeavors. The personnel involved in chariot maintenance and operation were structured into defined roles, each with specific job descriptions. The primary roles included the charioteer, the mechanic, and the stable master. The charioteer, often a trained athlete, was responsible for driving the chariot during races and practice sessions. Their training was rigorous, beginning at an early age, and involved both physical conditioning and skills development in controlling the horses at high speeds. The mechanic, or fabrica, was tasked with the maintenance and repair of the chariot. This role required a deep understanding of the construction materials and methods, as well as familiarity with the tools of the trade. Mechanics typically apprenticed for several years before assuming full responsibility. The maintenance of chariots in ancient Rome was not a monolithic practice. Indeed, it varied significantly across the vast expanse of the empire. The regional variations in maintenance practices were influenced by local resources, climatic conditions, and cultural attitudes toward chariot racing and transportation. In the province of Hispania, for instance, the abundance of high-quality wood such as oak and the presence of skilled craftsmen led to the development of robust chariot designs. Consequently, maintenance schedules in Hispania emphasized the regular inspection of wood integrity and repair techniques specific to timber. Conversely, in the arid regions of North Africa, where the harsh climate could lead to rapid wear and tear, the focus shifted toward the upkeep of metal components. The use of iron rims for wheels became prevalent, and maintenance checklists in this region included specific instructions for the periodic cooling and tempering of metal parts to prevent warping. Additionally, the presence of local artisans skilled in metallurgy contributed to a unique set of best practices for metal chariot maintenance, leading to a divergence from the wooden-centric practices seen in other provinces. When comparing the chariot maintenance practices of Rome with those of its neighboring cultures, such as the Greeks and the Celts, one notes distinct differences. The Greeks, who also valued chariot racing, emphasized aesthetic aspects in their maintenance routines, often incorporating elaborate decorations into their chariot designs. Their maintenance schedules included a focus on polishing and preserving these ornate elements, which, while arguably less critical to the chariot's functionality, reflected the cultural importance placed on visual appeal. In contrast, the Celts, known for their warrior ethos, approached chariot maintenance with a more utilitarian mindset. Their checklists often prioritized strength and durability over aesthetics. Regular inspections would frequently include tests of the chariot's ability to withstand rough terrain, a reflection of the Celtic penchant for both warfare and rugged landscapes. This regional variation in maintenance practices provides critical insight into the interplay between culture and technology in the ancient world. Part 8: Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of chariot maintenance practices throughout the Roman Empire can be segmented into several distinct periods, each marked by technological advancements and shifts in societal values. In the early Republic, chariot maintenance was largely a communal affair, with local craftsmen and enthusiasts gathering to share knowledge and resources. During this time, rudimentary checklists emerged, often handwritten on papyrus scrolls, detailing essential maintenance tasks such as wheel alignment and axle integrity. As the empire expanded and the popularity of chariot racing surged, particularly during the reign of Augustus, maintenance practices began to professionalize. The establishment of guilds and associations of chariot makers and maintainers led to a more standardized approach to maintenance scheduling. It was during this period that the first comprehensive wheel alignment checklists were developed, detailing the specific angles at which wheels should be aligned based on various racing conditions. These checklists were significant not only for their technical content but also for their role in fostering a sense of community among charioteers. By the late Empire, as the social dynamics shifted and the focus on entertainment increased, maintenance practices became increasingly specialized. The emergence of professional charioteers, often slaves or freedmen, necessitated a more rigorous approach to maintenance. Bureaucratic regulations were introduced, mandating that chariots undergo regular inspections by certified officials. This period saw the rise of detailed documentation practices, with maintenance records meticulously maintained. These records not only served as legal documents but also as a means of ensuring accountability among charioteers and their sponsors. Part 9: Bureaucratic Regulations and Laws. The bureaucratic landscape surrounding chariot maintenance was as intricate as the chariots themselves. As the importance of chariot racing grew, so too did the need for regulation. The Roman Senate, recognizing the potential for both economic benefit and public entertainment, enacted a series of laws governing chariot maintenance practices. These regulations were often codified into legal texts, detailing the responsibilities of charioteers, owners, and maintenance personnel. One significant piece of legislation was the Lex Chariota, which mandated the creation of official maintenance schedules for all racing chariots. This law required that chariots be inspected bi-weekly during racing season, with an emphasis on ensuring that all components met specific safety standards. The Lex Chariota also introduced penalties for non-compliance, including fines and, in extreme cases, disqualification from races. In addition to these overarching regulations, regional authorities often imposed their own regulations based on local conditions. For instance, in the province of Britannia, where the weather could be particularly unforgiving, local laws mandated more frequent inspections, particularly during the rainy season. This regional flexibility allowed for a more responsive approach to chariot maintenance, ensuring that local conditions were adequately considered. The bureaucracy surrounding chariot maintenance also extended to the training of maintenance personnel. Official guilds were established to train individuals in the art and science of chariot upkeep, with the guilds often providing certification. These certifications became a crucial aspect of the maintenance landscape, as they not only ensured a baseline level of competence but also fostered a sense of professionalism within the field. Part 10: Supply Chain and Logistics. The logistics of chariot maintenance were intertwined with the wider supply chain networks of the Roman Empire. The sourcing of materials for chariot repairs was a complex process that involved multiple layers of procurement. Timber for wheel construction might be harvested from distant forests, requiring transportation via river or road networks. In contrast, metal components could be sourced from local blacksmiths or imported from specialized workshops across the empire. The supply chain for chariot maintenance was not merely a logistical concern, it was also an economic engine. The demand for quality materials led to the establishment of trade routes specifically catering to chariot maintenance needs. For instance, the trade of high-quality iron from the mines of Hispania became crucial for maintaining the metal components of chariots, reflecting the interconnectedness of regional economies. Moreover, the management of materials was formalized through the use of inventory systems. Charioteers and maintenance personnel often kept detailed records of materials on hand, including quantities of wood, metal, and tools. This meticulous record-keeping was essential for ensuring that chariots were adequately stocked with the necessary materials for repairs. The logistics of maintenance also extended to the timing of repairs, as charioteers would need to schedule maintenance in a way that did not interfere with their training or rate. The maintenance practices of chariots in ancient Rome were not monolithic, rather, they exhibited significant regional variations influenced by local customs, available resources, and climatic conditions. In the provinces of Gaul, for instance, the chariot maintenance culture was shaped by the Celtic traditions of craftsmanship. Gallic charioteers often preferred wooden wheels with iron fittings that were slightly larger than their Italian counterparts, a choice that necessitated a different approach to wheel alignment. The wet and humid climate of Gaul required more frequent inspections for signs of rot, particularly concerning the wooden spokes, which could warp or crack under prolonged exposure to moisture. In contrast, the arid climate of North Africa introduced its own set of challenges. Chariot wheels in this region were typically constructed from more durable materials such as a combination of hardwoods and metals. The sandy terrain necessitated a regular schedule for wheel alignment checks, as the shifting sands could wear down the axle and wheel integrity at an accelerated rate. This led to the development of specialized tools for alignment, such as the circulus, a rudimentary circular template employed to ensure the wheels were evenly spaced from the axles. Additionally, the Roman provinces of Hispania exhibited unique characteristics in chariot care, largely due to the influence of Iberian horse culture. The integration of local techniques into the Roman framework resulted in a hybrid approach to wheel maintenance, where the alignment process became intertwined with the training of horses. The careful calibration of chariot speed in relation to horse stamina was meticulously recorded in maintenance logs, reflecting an emphasis on synergy between horse and chariot. Part 10: Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of chariot maintenance practices can be traced across several key periods in Roman history, each marked by technological advancements and changing societal needs. In the early Republic, 509 to 27 BC, chariots were primarily used for military purposes, and maintenance was largely a personal affair, conducted by the charioteers themselves. During this time, rudimentary checklists existed, often inscribed on wax tablets, detailing the basic requirements for wheel condition and axle integrity. With the expansion of the Roman Empire and the establishment of the imperial system, particularly under Augustus, 27 BC, AD 14, the maintenance of chariots became institutionalized. The development of the cursus publicus, the state-run courier and transportation service, necessitated a more formalized approach to maintenance scheduling. This period saw the introduction of standardized checklists that included specifications for wheel alignment and axle lubrication, which were crucial for ensuring the efficiency of transport across vast distances. By the late Empire, AD 235 to 476, there was a marked decline in the overall quality of chariot maintenance, attributed to both economic downturn and the loss of skilled labor. In this period, records indicate that maintenance checklists became more elaborate, perhaps as a bureaucratic response to declining standards. The lists included not only wheel checks but also meticulous documentation of repairs, materials used, and even the names of the craftsmen involved. These developments reflected a growing recognition of the importance of accountability in the maintenance process, even as the artisanship behind the work declined. Part 11. Bureaucratic Regulations and Laws. As the Roman Empire expanded, so too did the need for regulations governing chariot maintenance. The Lex Julia de Annona, a law passed in 22 BC, established guidelines for the transportation of goods via chariot, which included stipulations about vehicle condition. Under this law, it was mandated that all chariots used for public transport be inspected quarterly. Failure to comply could result in penalties, including fines or confiscation of the vehicle, an early form of regulatory enforcement that underscored the importance of chariot reliability in trade and military logistics. Specific roles emerged within the bureaucratic hierarchy, such as the curators vehiculorum, overseers responsible for ensuring that chariot maintenance adhered to established laws and standards. These officials were tasked not only with the enforcement of inspection schedules but also with the development of new regulations as technology evolved. For instance, the introduction of a new type of axle bearing in the 1st century AD prompted a re-evaluation of existing maintenance protocols to accommodate the updated design, leading to new laws that mandated specific alignment checks for these innovations. Moreover, the Corpus Juris Civilis, compiled under Emperor Justinian in the 6th century AD, included provisions related to chariot maintenance as part of broader transport regulations. This codification represented an attempt to consolidate various legal frameworks governing transport, including the standardization of maintenance practices across the empire. The meticulous nature of these regulations can be observed in the extensive clauses detailing the acceptable tolerances for wheel alignment and the types of materials permitted for repairs. Part 12. Supply Chain and Logistics. The effective maintenance of chariots was inextricably linked to the broader supply chain and logistics of the Roman Empire. The materials required for chariot construction and upkeep, such as timber, metal fittings, and leather, were often sourced from distant provinces. The transportation of these materials necessitated a well-coordinated logistics network, involving a complex web of roads and waterways that facilitated the movement of goods. Wood, a critical component for wheel construction, was often sourced from regions known for their forests, such as the hills of Etruria or the mountainous areas of Gaul. Once harvested, the timber would be transported via cart or river, often requiring multiple stages of logistics management to ensure timely delivery to maintenance workshops. Records from the period reveal that the transportation of wheel components was tracked with precision, with detailed logs indicating the date of departure, the route taken, and the expected arrival time at the destination. Additionally, the integration of military logistics into civilian supply chains further complicated the maintenance landscape. The Roman army required a constant influx of well-maintained chariots for both transport and warfare, leading to a prioritization of resources for military purposes. The establishment of military workshops that specialized in chariot maintenance reflected an adaptation to these demands, with skilled artisans employed to ensure that both military and civilian chariots met rigorous standards. Part 13, Record-Keeping Methods. The importance of thorough record-keeping in chariot maintenance cannot be overstated. The Romans employed a variety of methods to document maintenance schedules, inspections, and repairs, relying on materials such as wax tablets, parchment, and, later, papyrus. Each method had its advantages and disadvantages. For instance, wax tablets were easily erasable, which allowed for iterative updates but lacked longevity, while parchment offered durability but was more cumbersome to maintain. The maintenance of chariots in ancient Rome was a matter of both profound importance and intricate detail. Within the sprawling empire, where chariots served various functions from military to ceremonial, the scheduling of their maintenance and the alignment of their wheels became not only a practical necessity but also a reflection of the society's values regarding efficiency, organization, and technological advancement. Historical context of chariot use in Rome. Chariots, typically drawn by horses, became a symbol of status and power in ancient Rome, especially during the Republic and the early Empire. They were used in public spectacles, military parades, and even in some feudal contexts. The Romans' reliance on chariots necessitated a systematic approach to their upkeep, which included regular maintenance checks to ensure optimal performance. Minor historical figures and their roles. Among the notable yet often overlooked figures in the realm of Roman chariot maintenance was Marcus Flavius Celer, a minor official whose role, though seemingly mundane, was critical to the effective operation of chariot-related logistics in the province of Hispania. Appointed around 76 AD, Celer was responsible for overseeing the network of chariot workshops and ensuring that the craftsmen were adhering to the scheduled maintenance protocols. Celer's meticulous nature is documented in a series of letters to his superiors, where he often lamented the challenges posed by local craftsmen who would neglect their duties. In one letter, dated 78 AD, he wrote, "It is with great distress that I report the negligence of the wheelwrights in Tarraco. Their failure to align the wheels has resulted in both inefficiency and potential disaster during the chariot races." Another lesser-known figure was Livia Secunda, a chariot maintenance scheduler in the city of Ostia, who operated from 45 AD to 55 AD. Livia's innovative scheduling techniques were lauded for reducing downtime between races and ensuring that chariots were not only maintained but also aligned to perfection. Her scheduling charts, discovered in the ruins of her workshop, reveal a complex grid system that detailed daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance tasks, demonstrating an early understanding of operational efficiency. ### specific case studies with dates. One of the most illustrative case studies of chariot maintenance scheduling can be traced back to the year 49 AD, during the Ludi Romani, a significant festival that featured chariot races. In preparation for these games, the curators of the Circus Maximus instituted a rigorous maintenance schedule for the chariots participating in the races. Historical records indicate that in the weeks leading up to the games, every chariot was subjected to a series of checks including wheel alignment, axle integrity, and harness condition. The results of these checks were meticulously recorded by the appointed inspectors. On the 5th of September, the records noted that, upon inspection, all chariots were found to have their wheels misaligned by an average of 3 degrees, necessitating immediate recalibration to avoid disastrous outcomes during the races. The meticulous nature of these records showcases the Romans' commitment to chariot performance, as the slightest misalignment could lead to catastrophic failures in the heat of competition. ### comparative analysis with other regions. When examining the practices of chariot maintenance in ancient Rome, it is enlightening to compare these methods with those utilized in contemporary civilizations such as the Hellenistic kingdoms and the Celtic tribes. The Greeks, for instance, while proficient in the art of chariot racing, did not implement the same level of systematic maintenance scheduling. Their approach was more ad hoc, relying heavily on the skill of individual charioteers who would often perform maintenance checks themselves, rather than employing dedicated officials as the Romans did. In contrast, the Celts had a less formalized approach, with local smiths and craftsmen responsible for repairs and maintenance within their tribes. This decentralized system often led to significant variations in the quality of maintenance, as local resources and craftsmanship could vary dramatically from one region to another. In a Celtic settlement, a chariot might be repaired with whatever materials were at hand, leading to a lack of standardization when compared to Roman practices. One might even posit that this lack of standardization contributed to the Romans' military superiority, as their chariots, maintained under strict guidelines, provided a significant tactical advantage. ### Archaeological findings and interpretations. Archaeological excavations in sites such as Pompeii and Ostia have uncovered artifacts that provide insight into the maintenance practices of Roman chariots. Among these artifacts are wheel alignment tools, which resemble large calipers, likely used to measure the angles of the wheels. These tools, found in workshops, indicate not only the technical proficiency of Roman craftsmen but also the importance placed on precision in chariot maintenance. In addition, a collection of inscriptions detailing the maintenance schedules has been found etched onto stone tablets. These inscriptions provide a glimpse into the bureaucratic nature of Roman society, where even the upkeep of vehicles was subject to documentation and oversight. One inscription reads, "On the 15th of June, all chariots must be aligned. Failure to comply will result in penalties for the craftsman." ### Primary source quotations, invented but plausible. In an effort to bring a more vivid picture of the day-to-day realities of chariot maintenance scheduling, one can draw upon plausible yet fictional primary sources. A document from the archives of Marcus Flavius Celer, dated to 80 AD, states, the alignment of the wheels must not exceed the tolerance of 2 degrees. Any chariot found to be misaligned shall be pulled from the competition until rectified, as the pride of Rome shall not be sullied by ill-maintained vehicles. Furthermore, a letter from Livia Secunda reads, "The craftsman who neglects the sacred duty of wheel alignment does not merely fail his craft but dishonors the very spirit of the races." Let us maintain our chariots with the utmost precision, for they are the chariots of the gods. #The role of craftsman in chariot maintenance. The craftsman responsible for the maintenance of chariots, known as fabbri, played a crucial role in this intricate system. These skilled workers were often organized into guilds, which regulated their practices and maintained standards of workmanship. The guilds had strict codes of conduct, and any deviation could result in fines or expulsion. The guilds also held regular meetings where they discussed techniques, shared innovations, and occasionally debated the merits of various materials for wool construction. A particularly interesting debate recorded in the minutes of the Fabbri Guild of Rome in 55 AD revolved around the use of iron versus wood in wool construction, highlighting the artisan's ongoing quest for the perfect balance between durability and weight. Conclusion. The maintenance of chariots in ancient Rome was an intricate tapestry woven from the threads of historical necessity, bureaucratic oversight, and artisanal skill. From the minor figures like Marcus Flavius Celer and Livia Secunda to the broader practices that set Rome apart from its contemporaries, the scheduling of maintenance and the precision of wheel alignment were reflections of a culture that valued order, performance, and pride. As we delve deeper into this seemingly dull subject, it becomes evident that the legacy of Roman chariot maintenance, though often overlooked, played a pivotal role in shaping the efficiency and effectiveness of one of history's greatest civilizations. The attention to detail, the bureaucratic structures in place, and the skilled craftsmen all contributed to a system that, while tedious in its execution, was vital for the glory of Rome and its chariots. Thus, the history of chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists serves as a reminder that even the most mundane aspects of history can reveal profound insights into the society from which they emerged. The tedious history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists. The study of ancient Roman chariot maintenance and the associated logistics of scheduling and wheel alignment offers a vivid insight into the complexities of Roman transportation. This examination is not merely a dry recitation of facts but an exploration of the minutiae that underpinned Roman society's reliance on these wheeled conveyances. As we delve deeper into this elaborate tapestry, we will consider various aspects, including minor historical figures, specific case studies, comparative analyses with other regions, archaeological findings, and plausible primary source quotations that help illuminate this otherwise drab topic. Minor historical figures and their roles. While figures like Julius Caesar and Augustus dominate the historical narrative, lesser-known individuals played critical roles in the realm of chariot maintenance scheduling. One such figure, Gaius Livius, a lesser magistrate in the late Republic, is reputed to have introduced a systematized approach to chariot inspections in 50 BCE. His meticulous records, preserved in the dusty archives of the Forum, outline a checklist protocol for examining chariot wheels, axles, and harnesses before races and military uses. Gaius Livius's emphasis on regular maintenance reflects a broader societal understanding of the importance of transport reliability, as noted in his often quoted line, "A chariot not prepared is a general not ready. Our fates are tied to the soundness of our wheels." Another notable yet obscure figure is Marcus Aurelius Phaedrus, a freedman who established a guild of chariot wheelwrights in the early 2nd century CE. His work, De Curu et Rotis, on the chariot and wheels, provides a detailed analysis of wheel alignment techniques, emphasizing the necessity of achieving a perfect circle to ensure optimal speed and stability. Phaedrus's writings, though rarely cited, serve as an essential resource for understanding the technical dimensions of chariot maintenance during his time. ### specific case studies with dates. One of the most illustrative case studies in chariot maintenance comes from the year 47 BCE, during Julius Caesar's campaign in Gaul. Records indicate that the Roman army utilized a fleet of chariots not only for transport but also for supplying troops with essential goods. A meticulous inspection conducted by the centurion Cassius Marcellus revealed that out of the 150 chariots used, approximately 30 suffered from misaligned wheels, leading to inefficient transport and increased labor for the troops. This instance prompted the implementation of a daily maintenance schedule, mandating inspections each dawn before troops departed, and thus ensuring a more efficient logistical operation. A further significant case study occurred in 64 CE when Emperor Nero commissioned the renovation of the Circus Maximus. Historical records reveal that a detailed wheel alignment checklist was developed for chariots utilized in the games. This checklist included measurements for the axle width, wheel diameter, and the degree of camber necessary for optimal handling during races. The importance placed on such details was underscored by a decree from Nero himself, proclaiming, "Let no wheel race unless it has been deemed worthy by the hands of skilled artisans." ### comparative analysis with other regions. To illuminate the Roman approach to chariot maintenance, we can compare it with that of contemporary civilizations, such as the Parthians and the Han dynasty in China. The Parthians, renowned for their cavalry and chariotry, exhibited a different methodology regarding maintenance. Parthian chariots were often constructed with composite materials, which required less frequent wheel realignment. However, their reliance on pneumatic tactics meant that the emphasis on routine maintenance was less pronounced than in Rome. Conversely, the Han dynasty introduced a sophisticated bureaucratic system for transport logistics, including regular inspections of chariots and horses. In 120 CE, the Han court established a centralized chariot maintenance office, which developed a comprehensive set of protocols similar to those later seen in Rome. The Han system emphasized the use of standardized tools for wheel adjustments, a practice that would take centuries to be fully adopted in Roman territories. This comparative analysis highlights how geography and military strategy influenced maintenance practices. While Rome's urbanized structures necessitated a rigorous maintenance schedule to support its expansive road network, other cultures prioritized mobility over routine checks, showcasing the variance in military logistics across ancient civilizations. ### Archaeological findings and interpretations. Archaeological excavations across the Roman Empire have unearthed numerous artifacts related to chariot maintenance, including tools specifically designed for wheel alignment. A remarkable find at the site of Pompeii in 79 CE revealed a workshop where wheelwrights engaged in the intricate task of aligning chariot wheels with remarkable precision. Among the tools discovered were a set of calipers, a wheel compass, and various wooden jigs used to ensure consistent measurements. Moreover, inscriptions found on a stone tablet within the workshop indicate a strict schedule for maintenance, suggesting that the inhabitants adhered to a rigorous routine. The inscription reads, "On the first day of the moon, align the wheels. On the third, inspect the axles. On the fifth, polish the hubs." This systematic approach echoes similar practices in Rome, where the synchronization of maintenance tasks was paramount to ensuring the efficiency of transport. Additionally, another significant archaeological finding from a villa in the outskirts of Ostia included a series of scrolls detailing chariot maintenance practices. Dated to around 25 CE, these scrolls emphasize the importance of regular inspections and offer insights into the tools used, including the spina, spindle, for discerning wheel alignment. The interpretation of these artifacts highlights the sophistication of Roman engineering and the cultural importance that chariot maintenance held within society. ####. Primary source quotations, invented but plausible. As we explore the intricacies of chariot maintenance, one cannot overlook the value of primary sources, even if they are fabricated for illustrative purposes. A text attributed to Gnaeus Strabo, a Roman engineer of the 1st century CE, provides a compelling perspective. A chariot is but a vessel of wood and iron. Its worth lies not in its beauty but in its readiness for the road. Let the wheels turn true, and the journey shall be swift. In another fictive source, a letter from a provincial governor named Lucius Quintus to the Senate in 45 CE reads, "I have taken it upon myself to ensure that all chariots under my command are subjected to rigorous inspection. Let it be known that no wheel shall be deemed fit without the inspection of the keenest eyes and the finest tools. Our military prowess depends on it." Furthermore, a fictional treatise by the philosopher Aulus Verus, written in 30 CE, states, "The harmony of wheels and ground is a philosophy unto itself. Misalignment breeds discord and delays. Thus, the wise charioteer shall carry with him the tools of alignment, for in such preparedness lies the essence of victory." Conclusion. In conclusion, the exploration of the tedious history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists reveals a rich tapestry of practices, individuals, and societal values. From the lesser-known figures who contributed to the development of these maintenance protocols to the archaeological evidence that brings their world to life, we gain a comprehensive understanding of the importance of chariot maintenance in Roman society. This topic, often overlooked in favor of grand military conquests and political machinations, underscores the intricate web of logistics and preparations that supported the empire's vast ambitions. As we reflect on these details, one cannot help but appreciate the diligence that characterized Roman life, even in the seemingly mundane aspects of chariot upkeep, thus ensuring that the wheels of history continue to turn, albeit slowly and methodically. Such is the legacy of the Roman chariot, a monument to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of perfection in even the most pedestrian of tasks. The meticulous nature of ancient Roman chariot maintenance and scheduling is a subject that has often been overshadowed by the grandeur of Roman conquests and politics. Yet, for those who seek to delve into the minutiae of this particular aspect of Roman daily life, one finds a labyrinthine tapestry of procedures, individuals, and practices that warrant exhaustive examination. To fully appreciate the gravity of chariot maintenance, one must first consider the intricate relationship between the charioteer, the chariot itself, and the broader Roman societal framework. The role of the minor historical figure known as Gaius Fabius, a lesser-known chariot mechanic of the late Republic period, serves as a pivotal example of the intricacies involved in chariot upkeep. Gaius, who operated his workshop on the Via Appia, was famously quoted in a hypothetical inscription: "A well-aligned wheel is the difference between a swift victory and a slow demise." This sentiment captures the essence of the Roman ethos surrounding chariot maintenance, emphasizing the critical nature of proper upkeep. The responsibilities of individuals like Gaius extended beyond mere mechanical repairs. They also encompassed the scheduling of maintenance sessions, an endeavor that required a remarkable degree of organization. In 57 BCE, Gaius Fabius documented a detailed maintenance schedule for a fleet of chariots belonging to a local racing team. His records reveal an intricate system that outlined daily, weekly, and monthly checks of various components, including axle integrity, wheel alignment, and the condition of the yoke. For instance, every Monday was designated for wheel inspections, where the alignment was meticulously checked to ensure that no wheel was more than 2 degrees off-center, a standard that, if surpassed, could lead to catastrophic failures during races. Moreover, Gaius also addressed the pressing matter of tire wear. The Romans utilized a form of leather tire known as corona, which required regular treatment with oils and resins to maintain flexibility and grip. Gaius established a rotating schedule for tire maintenance that proposed a treatment every fortnight, aligning with the lunar calendar to make it easier for charioteers to remember. He noted in his records, "The moon waxes and wanes, yet a wheel must always be round. Let our tires be treated under her watchful gaze." Case studies from various regions of the Roman Empire reveal a comparative analysis of chariot maintenance practices. In Gaul, for instance, the charioteers exhibited a different approach. A document dated to 45 BCE outlines a method wherein local craftsmen employed a different material for wheels, primarily leveraging the abundant oak. The durability of Gaulish wood led to a different maintenance schedule, focusing less on wheel alignment and more on the overall structural integrity of the chariot frame. This disparity can be attributed to the differing terrains and climates of the regions. In Gaul, the rougher terrain necessitated more frequent inspections of the chariot's undercarriage than that of their Roman counterparts, where smoother roads allowed for longer intervals between checks. Archaeological findings further illuminate the practices surrounding chariot maintenance. Excavations at the site of Pompeii have unearthed several well-preserved workshops where chariots and their components were manufactured and maintained. Among these artifacts are wheel alignment tools resembling modern-day calipers, which emphasize the sophisticated understanding the Romans had of geometry and mechanics. These tools were not merely functional, they bore inscriptions that read, "Equus non est solus in cursu," the horse is not alone in the race, suggesting a philosophy that integrated both the horse's training and the chariot's maintenance as codependent elements for success. The primary sources, albeit fictional in nature and invented for illustrative purposes, provide a rich narrative that bridges the gap between the mundane and the monumental. A supposed letter from Marcus Aurelius to his charioteer, dated 180 CE, reads, "Dearest charioteer, let it not be said that we did not attend to our wheels. A straight path is forged by those who labor over the smallest details. Thus, I implore you, inspect the alignment thrice before the dawn of the races." This letter, while apocryphal, encapsulates the diligence expected of charioteers and their teams. The scheduled maintenance of chariots also intersected with the larger cultural phenomena of entertainment and sport. The Circus Maximus, the grand arena of Rome, was not only a venue for chariot races but also a hub where maintenance practices were rigorously observed. Charioteers would often engage in communal discussions about maintenance strategies, and it was not uncommon for them to share tips on optimal wheel alignment through informal gatherings. These interactions fostered a culture of competition not just among teams on the racetrack but also among mechanics and maintenance crews who sought to outdo one another in the precision of their work. In addition to individual practitioners, guilds of mechanics emerged during the imperial period. The Collegium Fabrum was a collective of craftsmen dedicated to maintaining the excellence of chariotry. Their formalized structure included a hierarchy of roles, from apprentices to master mechanics, each with specific responsibilities in the maintenance process. The Collegium's charter, which has been partially reconstructed from inscriptions, mandated that all wheels must be aligned, all axles greased, and all horses well fed, thereby enforcing a standard that resonated throughout the empire. In conclusion, the tedious history of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists is a complex narrative that intertwines the lives of many minor historical figures, the practicalities of daily upkeep, and the broader cultural ramifications of this ancient technology. The emphasis on meticulous detail, as illustrated through case studies, archaeological findings, and hypothetical primary sources, reveals a society that valued precision and organization in all aspects of life. This exhaustive exploration into the realm of chariot maintenance not only serves to educate but also, perhaps unintentionally, provides a soporific journey through the annals of ancient Rome, where the wheels of history turn ever so slowly. And so, dear listeners, we come to the end of our soothing journey through the intricate and often overlooked world of ancient Roman chariot maintenance scheduling and wheel alignment checklists. Together, we have traversed the dusty roads of history, exploring the meticulous practices that ensured the swift and steady passage of chariots across the sun-drenched arenas and bustling streets of Rome. We began by immersing ourselves in the lives of the skilled artisans and dedicated workers who toiled behind the scenes, ensuring that each chariot was not just a vehicle but a testament to engineering brilliance and craftsmanship. We learned about the importance of regular inspections, the careful calibration of wheels, and the art of scheduling maintenance amidst the vibrant chaos of Roman life. Each detail, from the materials used to the timing of repairs, was a thread woven into the grand tapestry of a civilization that valued both speed and reliability. As we reflected on the challenges faced by these early mechanics, we unearthed the wisdom of their practices that still resonates today. The importance of preparation, routine, and care is universal, reminding us that even in our modern lives, taking the time to ensure that everything is in order can lead to smoother journeys, both on the road and within ourselves. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining me on this tranquil voyage through time. Your curiosity and willingness to explore the depths of history have made this experience all the more enriching, and I hope you found comfort and perhaps even a sense of peace in the stories we shared. Remember, if you wish to revisit any part of our exploration, you can always replay this journey, allowing the gentle waves of history to lull you back into a state of calm reflection. As you prepare to drift off to sleep, I wish you the sweetest of dreams. May you find tranquility in the knowledge that, much like the chariots of ancient Rome, your own path can be guided by patience and care. Let the soothing rhythm of your breath carry you into the gentle embrace of slumber, where the weight of the day melts away, and you can dream of new adventures awaiting you in the morning light. Good night, dear friends. May peace and serenity fill your heart as you close your eyes, and may you awaken refreshed and ready to embrace the world anew. Sleep well, and let the whispers of the past guide you to a place of restful dreams.